Welcome to Healing is Hilarious. I'm your host, Rachel LaForce. This is a podcast where personal development meets punchlines. Each week, I'm offering you my own lived experience in diving into topics like self-empowerment, authentic living, and learning how to listen to your inner knowing. Because after all, healing doesn't have to be heavy. It's hilarious. Welcome back to Healing is Hilarious. It's Rachel LaForce. Okay. We've been in this little mini glow up series. I instantly regretted saying glow up. I don't like that term. Not because I don't think that's what we're doing. It just feels very, I don't know, like Glamazon 1990. We've got to move on. Okay. Today is the third episode and kind of this pack of four that's really, I'm hoping, leading us into this new journey that takes us from now until the end of March. You may be going, why end of March? That's like an odd, what's the point? Well, we've talked about this. Even though the new year technically starts in January, here in America, it's the dead of winter, which seems like a terrible idea to be like, everything's anew. It's like, no, it's cold and freezing and I'm over it. And so the astrological new year, spring, everything like that starts to come alive at around that time. And so I think it's a really good time for us to set these intentions, really be mindful of them. What are we calling in? How are we acting different? How are we showing up? Are we having a little bit of fucking fun? And what do things look like around that time? Because typically during winter anyway, we're really going to be resting and kind of reflecting on everything that was working over the last year, what we want to do different. And so a lot of those revelations, changes, transformations are really going to start to present themselves in around the end of March. So that's why, okay? The whole podcast is about not having to prove yourself. But I'm like, listen, before we start, okay, I need you to know that I know what I'm doing. Some days. Okay. So today, who are you? Who are you? That's what we're going to talk about today. When we're talking about moving into a new identity, which is what we're doing, and even if identity doesn't work for you, but just this idea of you're operating new. And I'm going to guess this is a pretty major shift. So it's either, a lot of these messages are really for the person that's either like you are just awakening, or maybe you're like me, you've been doing this for a while and things are really, your material world is completely different than where you started. It's probably very reflective of where you were wanting to be, right? Even if not circumstances, but in frequency. And now is really calling again for this massive transformation that felt very similar to that initial transformation. And you may know a lot of the specifics about what you want in this new phase of life. Or perhaps more specifically, you know what you don't want. But this is something I think that's been very real for me. And so I know when these messages come through for me, I'm like, I don't think these are just for me. It's something worth sharing. I was really realizing so many of the things that I like, the way that I dress, what I watch, what I take in, what I drive, what I eat, are leftover remnants of what was suggested to me, or when I was in people-pleasing phases, when I was in codependent relationships, when I was just like, sure, whatever you do, I'll do, honestly shocked I don't have a tattoo on my face. They're kind of left over from what everybody else likes. And now I know if you know me personally, you may be like, Rachel, you're just being a little hard on yourself. You do really know what you like and what you, yes, more and more. But I think so much of what's so beautiful about the human experience is that we get to experience whatever we decide, right? If travel is your thing, that's so much of you get to experience all of these different ways of being, these different topography, the different cultures, and that's your way of experiencing this lifetime. Some of you are experiencing that through moving away from home, expanding, starting businesses. Ambition is the way that you experience this life in full. Maybe, having a family, whether that's one that looks at traditional, whatever the fuck that means, or, you have cultivated, kind of your own family, whether that's through friends and coworkers, that is how you experience the world, is through other people. I'm not going to throw out 7 more examples. I feel like we covered it. But with that, I'm really realizing like, oh, I really want to figure out like who I am. Because when you have lived so much of your life as a people pleaser, you kind of will default to what everybody else, oh, what do you want to listen to? Oh, I don't care, whatever you want to listen to. Oh, what are we wearing tonight? I don't know. What is everybody wearing tonight? You know, where do you want to go to eat? Oh, I don't care. Wherever you want to go to eat. Like, and we just accept all these things on default. And now we live in this world where your phone is like, buy this thing, do this thing, don't wear this thing. This is what's killing you. You know what else has cancer? Chocolate. Like, just everything. It's all day long telling us how to be. And I think now more than ever, it is rebellious by nature to know exactly who you are. And I think, especially when you're speaking from a place of conviction, whether that's going into relationships, having deeper relationships, you have to know who the fuck you are. You have to know what those boundaries are. You have to know what's okay for you. As an artist, you have to know, like, why are you creating? What is it that you want to do? You know, why? Why is it specific to you? There's just all of these different things, and I think that we all kind of know, but I think it's very rare for some of us to be like, non-negotiable, this is what, like, I honestly, when I was thinking about this, I was like, there's maybe 3 to 5 people that I've ever met that I could think of that I feel like know exactly who the fuck they are. And they show up like that in any situation. They're okay with conflict. Now, again, I'm not saying that they've, you know, solved, they're healed, but in this aspect of it, that just know who they are. And there is a sense of like, I don't know why it's the one that keeps coming up for me, but like hummingbird energy almost in a way. Not that they're like super flighty, but just like there is something that just kind of floats about them. Because when you know who you are, you don't unwillingly get stuck in stuff. And you don't like, I think that's the beautiful thing about confrontation, you know, and I think about this a lot because a lot of the people that I have hired to work for me, I also have personal relationships with. And I know a lot of people are like, don't hire your friends. I obviously, you know, I went through plenty of friends I would not hire. But these people I ended up forging relationships with because, you know, I work with them so closely. And I think about that a lot of like, we have to have a lot of honest conversations, like what needs to shift, what needs to move, even on my own behalf. And, you know, that's actually been a really great practice for me of being able to stay honest. Like not everything that needs to be confronted has to be a whole therapy session conversation. Sometimes it's as easy as like, hey, I've been doing you and I a disservice by doing blank. Hey, here's what I would really love to see from you. You know what I feel like you're really capable of that we really haven't seen? And even taking that into all of our personal relationships, of the ways that we kind of like let shit slide rather than being like, hey, you know what I think would be really cool? Or you know what I would really love in this relationship? You know what I'm really seeking? And I think as people pleasers, it's like we have created this entire idea, again, going back to like letting things be easy. Communicating is actually not that hard. It's the mental energy and the buildup to it that we've made it this whole thing. The amount of energy that I have held at times by just texting somebody back like, hey, I'm unavailable on that day. They don't care. They'll go to lunch with you on a different fucking day. What are you doing? You know? Like just all of these ways that we overcomplicate simply because we're scared. And I think when we know who we are and we're comfortable to be like, I'm comfortable now of being like, I am putting myself in a position to be seen based off of the wisdom and the ideas that I have. Now, I'm also smart enough to know, hey, I have growth edges just like everybody else. There may be say something that I say in a public setting and I'm going to be educated and have new pieces of information. I'm going to have to come out and go, hey, I apologize. I was operating off of this information. You know, I was graciously taught, like, here's some new ways of thinking. I apologize, and I appreciate everybody for giving me grace. Let's keep it moving. Like, it doesn't, every single thing, even in a public setting, in a very public setting, it does not have to take all of our energy. We allow it to. Everybody else is projecting onto you the way that they see the world. And while that can be very overwhelming, because especially for us that are, you know, empaths and artists, we want to be understood and we want to let it fucking go, bro. If you have 5 people in your life that really know who you are and really understand you, you have won the jackpot. That's it. There's about 5 spaces, realistically. That's it. Our experiences are too unique. Our tastes are too unique for every single person to just totally get it. You know, I mean, even if you thought of like Taylor Swift or somebody who's, you know, Tom Hanks, like the most beloved people, Barack Obama, like people that kind of across the board, most people like, right? Even if you polled people, they would tell you a different reason why they felt connected to that, you know, public person. And so it has to be something that in order for us to grow into exactly who we are, we have to let that go. But I think the way that we let it go is through action. And the action is figuring out, who am I? I thought about it the other night because I was going through old scripts, and I pulled one out that I was like, I really want to give this a rewrite and start submitting it again. And there's a scene in it that was based off of a scene with myself and an old boyfriend. And we were like in the middle of this breakup, and I was so frustrated because he was so passive. It was like he wouldn't even have the breakup with me, which also that's on me for even being there. So we're not going to throw it all on him, but for purposes of this conversation. And in the script I wrote, you know, where I was like, what do you like? Like, I don't even know what you like, you know, and I'm like, just like kind of going after him in the scene. And I thought about that for myself of like, LaForce, who are you? What do you like? What do you want to do? Because once we're super clear on that, and I think it's different than values. I think for most of us, like we know our values, we know our morals, and we set all of this stuff of like, when you know your values, then you'll always know how to navigate. By the way, I want to be very clear, I'm not shitting on values and morals, okay? But I also think that like really having a sense of what you like and the ownership over that, that's fucking power. And I think so many of us have given that power away to social media, to exes, to jobs, to like all of these things. And one of the ways in which you will call the majority of your power back, look, she even did it. The way you're going to call all of your motherfucking power back is by knowing exactly who you are and what you like. And all of your choices aren't going to be for everybody. There's going to be some choices you make and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that she would make that choice. She thinks she's so, you know, blah, blah, blah. And like, what a vain choice. Or, oh, they think they're so great and they did da-da-da. Not everybody is going to meet this idea of righteousness that you have in your head, especially not you. That goes back to letting it be easy. The more mistakes you make while also owning that you're a pro at what you do, you're also going to go a lot easier on other people. And you're also going to realize like, oh, really most people aren't watching. Even let's go on a global scale. Like somebody does something insane. We move on so quickly. Take that power back. Who are you? What do you like? What do you like? For a lot of you, I suggest The Artist Way. If you haven't taken a look at that, it's an excellent book. It's a 12-week program if you're doing it kind of start to finish. Julia Cameron, and her idea is that spirituality is, or creativity is spiritual, which I also subscribe to. And you could take yourself on these different artists' dates, and there's all these different prompts. So that may be a good way. It may just be going... writing down, this is something I've been thinking about, of like writing down on a list, activities, hobbies, food, clothes, vanity, sex, music, just like all of these different outdoor activities. Like, I mean, really breaking it down in whatever makes sense for your life. Money. How do I actually want to spend my money? You know, because there's this idea where it's like, oh, you have more money, then you should have a nicer car, or you should have this bag, or you should have this. Not if you don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Spend your money on what you want to. Maybe you like gummy bears. Buy a fuck ton of gummy bears. I don't know. It's your money. It's your life. It's your video game. Set it how you want it. So what I'm going to do, and I encourage you to do this practice along with me, is really making these lists and going through what are the things I really love. Like I was thinking about that with music, and I'm like, I would even just like go back and listen to like the original Hanson album. Unironically, okay? There's some bops. There's some bangers in there. You know, and just like, what are these things that really do give back to you? You know, what is the food that you want to make at home? What is the, just going through all of these things, because when we begin to incorporate what we truly love, what truly makes us feel alive, what makes us feel powerful, that energy already starts to come back to us. And then it's going to reflect back out into the world even how we are perceived. And we can't control how we're perceived. But we certainly can show up as the best version, the most authentic version, dare I say, of ourselves. It's going to make it easier communicating. It's going to make it easier job searching, dating, creating content, right? Whatever these things are. Because then you do become a magnet for the thing that really is for you, which are, again, those lessons we've heard a million times. We've seen all the quotes. We've reposted all the videos. The difference is we haven't actually done that for ourselves, right? Who you think you are and what you do every day. What is the dissonance between those two things? And that's really what this practice is. Because I know that for me, even who I say I am versus if you looked at every action I take all day long, there's a good chunk of space there. Okay? So embarrassing. So that's my work right now, is closing that gap. And it's through these actions. It's through what I like, how I want to spend my money, who I want to be with, and really getting clear on it. Not so that they're immovable, but so that I can move easier towards the life I desire, being present for the life I've created, and moving through things that are difficult or hard, right? Okay, that's good. I think we've talked it. I think we're good. How do you feel? Good. I was hoping you were going to say that. Okay, guys, go check out the blog. Please post, share this with somebody. Leave me a review. You can comment if you watch this on Spotify. Leave me a little comment. Be like, girl, me too. Okay? Little emoji. I would love to see it. I'm so excited for you. We've got one more episode in this series that's really going to lay the groundwork for where we're headed from now until March, and really massaging these things that we can revisit it at March and be like, oh my God, look at all these amazing things that have happened. Because that's how growth works, and it's going to be fun. All right. Take care of you. Tune out, tune in. Love you, mean it. Well, I don't know about you, but I sure as hell feel better. Thank you so much for tuning in to Healing is Hilarious. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support helps me reach more listeners on their healing journeys. Ready to dive deeper? Check out my TEDx talk on YouTube. Just search Rachel LaForce TEDx for more insights and laughs. Until next time, tune out, tune in. Love you, mean it.